Mark Hale with the New York Post here as we preview the Western Conference first round of the playoffs with Peter Vecsey, our NBA columnist. And now we're going to get to our last matchup here, which is the Mavericks against the Trailblazers. And really, Peter, I guess the Trailblazers are the team that nobody wanted to play in the first round.
That's exactly right. You know, there are about 7 teams in the West that nobody wants to play. The Hornets are probably the only team that 7 teams wanted to play. But the Lakers certainly did not want to play the Trailblazers, and I'll tell you why.
Wow.
How I know this. It's because Kobe Bryant in the last game against Sacramento, when he could have been resting his aching body, he scored 36 points, had 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. So he did that. That was so they did not have to play Portland in the first round.
Wow.
And on the other side, they wanted to play the Hornets.
Huh. Well, when you look at the team that is going to play Portland now is Dallas, and you know, for a span now of over 2 months since February 2nd, Dallas played 10 playoff teams in the West. They went 0-9 against the Western Conference playoff teams until they finally beat the Hornets in the final game of the regular season. So, Peter, they're not exactly coming into the postseason with a pretty good track record of beating elite teams down the stretch.
Yeah, and as we know, success and failure are usually measured in the playoffs about which team is peaking, which team is healthy, and also matchups. So yeah, the Mavs won a few games down the stretch, but like you said, only against one team that's in the playoffs, the Hornets. And what does that really mean? People point to the fact that they miss Caron Butler. But what I say to those people is that they didn't miss him when they won 18 out of 19 in January and February.
Right.
The Mavs are really struggling. They'll be very fortunate to get out of this round, and they rely so much on Dirk Nowitzki. They really don't have a second scorer. Yes, Jason Terry comes off the bench and can certainly light it up, and he's also gets like 4 assists a game, but they need somebody else, and that's where they probably do miss Butler, when he really was Caron Butler, but that wasn't going to happen this year. If they do lose, this is a defining moment, just like we said in the East, that it was a defining moment for the Hawks, that coaches and players would be gotten rid of if they didn't win, and I believe this applies here as well to Rick Carlisle, and I don't think any player would be untouchable. The wrath of Mark Cuban will be upon them, except Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, he's the only one that if they lose in this first round, could pretty well be assured he'll be back. Nobody else.
Well, Peter, the Portland hasn't won a playoff series since the 1999-2000 season. Do you think that streak ends? Does Portland, beat Dallas this time and kind of shove the Mavericks into some upheaval?
No, I do. Those kind of statistics, Mark, don't mean anything to me because it's not the same players by any stretch. Probably not one player from that era is left. Maybe Zach Randolph playing with with the Memphis team was on that team. Probably not. He probably wasn't even there. So, Portland is so loaded. LaMarcus Aldridge, is Sean Marion going to guard him? Not a chance.
Right.
Can Tyson Chandler guard him down low? He's got such a great post-up game now to go with his outside shooting. Who's going to go out and guard him on the floor? Marion? Okay, but now he goes inside. He can't guard him there. So creates tremendous mismatches. And then they've got their general manager, Rich Cho, did such a great job in getting Gerald Wallace at the trade deadline, picking up Wesley Matthews as a free agent during the off season. They've got, to me, the most underrated player in the NBA. Every year he's the most underrated, Andre Miller, who he's also the best lob thrower in the game. Cho deserves a lot of credit for not trading him, and there was a lot of pressure to do that. And then you've got Roy coming off the bench. This team and Marcus Camby, they're loaded. They're loaded, and I really do see them upsetting, although I really don't know if it's an upset at this point, Dallas.
So then that would mean Portland will end up playing the Lakers in that second round. For the New York Post, I'm Mark Hale.